something I can adjust back to.
Okay, it is 7 officially. Welcome to the first rehearsal in March. Yay. Is it the first rehearsal? Yes, okay, anyways. So as Christian said, there's a piece that we're adding to the concert. It is a piece that was written for BCCO and it seemed appropriate for the times. And it is in the back. So if you don't have a copy of it, it's because we sang. And we're going to read through it today. How many of you know that this is from Robin Eschner? How many of you know this? Have you sung this piece before? Oh my goodness! Wow! Okay, well this is written in December of 2010. And so I'm glad to know so many people know this piece already. So we're going to do warm-up. We're going to look at, of course, our Zelensky. I might want to try to do a little bit of the Mendelssohn and Brahms, but of course we want to do the Eschner as well. But first, let's have everybody stand up. Let's get warmed up and ready to go.
Warmed up excited.
I don't know about you, but this weather's been driving me nuts. I don't know whether to wear a sweater or not, but regardless, we want to make sure that our body, our instruments are ready for singing. And so feet shoulder width apart, and what I want you to do is walk slowly in pace. The same thing as always. Remember that when you're standing, your knees can lock or they can slightly bend, but it doesn't affect your height. So you want to make sure they're slightly buoyant and that we're not cutting off our circulation by making them lock and slightly back. So bounce a little bit up and down on your toes. You want the weight to be firmly on your toes and not your heel. Go on your heel just for a little bit. And you see it really puts you in a weird, awkward position. You really want to be on the balls of your feet. Rock slowly side to side. Find the middle. Lean forward and back. The same thing, find the middle. This is all about balance and posture because you want to make sure that your head, which is very heavy, some of us have big heads, you want to make sure that your muscles aren't straining themselves to keep your head and that it's being balanced by all the vertebrae in your back. So, that being said, let's twist up the waist a little bit and start thinking, now that we have our foundation there, about these muscles that we use all day but we don't think about. And so you want to start engaging them just like yoga or any other physical exercise. Start isolating them and thinking about how we engage them for vocalizing, for singing, for breathing. Let's roll our shoulders around. You want your shoulders not to interfere with your torso. So you want to make sure that they're flexible and relaxed, not too far back like military style, not slouching up forward. And you want to make sure that they're straight. So what I want you to do is raise your shoulders up. And then down. Now raise our shoulders up again with tight fists, and then we're going to breathe out while we relax them. And then once more with scrunchy faces. Scrunchy faces and then breathe out and relax. As you know from meditation, from yoga or whatnot, there's a physiological response of relaxation in your body when you breathe out. And so we want to take advantage of that. And make sure that when we breathe out, we are relaxing where we need to, so we don't hold tension. We are not in tension, but we are intentional about how we engage our muscles. Okay? So let's do a sigh. Open up your jaw, and as always, you know when you speak, you barely use your jaw. When you sing, you widen it quite a bit. So you want to get a nice space there. Yawning is perfectly great. And let's do a sigh on you. And remember that the same thing. This is your full vocal range, and speaking is basically that. So when you sigh, try to make sure it's a little bit airy, and you're gently stretching out your range. So even higher, but also much more airy. Just kind of keep it relaxed and stretch the soft palate to easily reach the higher register instead of trying to grab it. Okay, here we go. Now, with that space, you won't believe it, but up here, it was probably just a little bit louder than the first time you did it, but it was a more relaxed sound. And it's the same thing as always. If the lid on the piano is down, then it interferes with the release of the sound. If your soft palate is down, and it basically dulls the sound. So by creating that space, you naturally use all the hard parts of your head and your voice apparatus to naturally create a much more resonant full sound. Let's do one more sigh on the end. Okay, let's do some breathing exercise. Put your thumb in your belly button. BCCO is always hilarious to me because I always have dinner right before I come here. So I'm like, oh, I'm feeling dinner right now. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in, just on your own time. And I want you to be aware, again, the same thing, being conscious of how you're engaging your muscles to breathe in and out. Not with any tempo, not with any speed, but just a slow engagement of breathing in and out. And the same thing, take your thumbs and put them on your floating ribs, right? Same thing. When you breathe in and out, how do those slightly expand out? And they're not attached by cartilage like some of the other ones. They really are floating. So they actually have a little bit of give. And then finally, on the small of your back, right? That's a curve inward of the back. And you can feel that actually expanding out. It's like if you put your hand in your belt, right? You can actually feel it out. So from all distances, what we're trying to do is maximize the amount of air that we have and get used to engaging that when we breathe in. So let's do 4 counts of breathing in, 4 counts of breathing out on shh. Now remember, during the day when we speak, we take really slow breaths in and we tend to have very fast air going out. And we're going to flip it around for singing. So we want to have more quick inhalations and then slow, conscious exhalations out. But for now, 4 counts in, 4 counts out. We're going to breathe together, 4 counts in and then out on shh, okay? And when you're breathing in, again, being aware of all these areas and you're sort of expanding out and creating the space for long breaths, right? Here we go. And breathing in together, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for a couple of seconds, and then out on shh. Yeah, that's good. And then breathing in again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. And if you notice, my hand motions are not. It feels too much like you're shriveling up. What you want to do is maintain your posture, and so that it really is, like your viscera and your soft tissues that are pulling in rather than your posture collapsing. Let's do the same thing again, and I want you to do 2 beats in and then 6 beats out. Okay, right? Breathing in together, and 2, and 2, 3, 4. Maintain posture, 5, 6. Breathing in 2 beats. And then out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then finally, 1 beat in, and let's do 11 counts out. Just because I know you can do this, all right? And here we go. Now, all we're doing is hastening the engagement of your inhalation, right? So it's all the same purposeful breathing in for 1 beat, and then maintaining that posture while you breathe out and really get yourself on your breath, right? And here we go. And down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, let's do this. I don't think we've ever actually done this before. Can you do this? And so this is going to mimic how much engagement you're going to have when you're going to be exhaling. Because what it is this constant awareness, not just sort of deflating, but really controlled airflow out, okay? And so, again, I think of it like this duck. It looks so serene, but underneath the water it's like, right? Okay, at least that's what I tell elementary kids. And then they just start quacking. Okay, here we go. 2, and inhalation. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That was great. Your exhalation was much more free, but then it also started petering out at the end. I'm like, no, keep on going, keep on going. Try it one more time. Ready? And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Great. You don't want to do when we sing exactly what I do with my speaking voice. You don't want to get to the end of your breath and sound like you're really straining to support it out. You're basically just going to try to maintain it as possible, and then when you run out of air, you run out of air. But you don't want to sort of, like, you know, when you take that toothpaste and you're like, I'm going to get that last bit, you know. That creates a tone that's not really great for our singing. Okay, let's do rhythmic exercises. We're going to go. We're going to create a lot of moisture for our mouths, right? 2, and. Yeah, not that. I still get. You really make sure you articulate your diaphragmatics. 2, and. Yeah, that's good. That's really great, okay? I know it's really hard with the mask, but it sounds really great. Don't forget that when you're breathing in, I think it's because I have the microphone there, you don't want to hear, right? Because what that means is that you're inhaling and your vocal folds are closed. And what that means is that you're actually drying them out because your breath in is dehydrating them a little bit. So you want to make sure that there's no sound. And it's just because my mic's here that, you know, you just want to make sure that you have open. Okay? Okay, great. Let's do another side. There we are. That's relaxed. Okay, that's great. Okay, all this breathing and meditation. Let's do D major. Was there a third there? Mi, me, ma, mu. Okay? And what I want you to think about is actually sustaining the line all the way down the scale so that last note is just as vibrant and alive as the first note. Okay? 2, and. There's this one orchestra that I hate working with. I'm not obviously going to name it. But it feels like when I conduct them, like I'm like pushing them through the water. Like I'm rowing for like 90 people at the same time. I'm like, And so what you want to make sure is that the end is not holding you back. Mi, me, ma. Push the air through the consonant. Mi, me. Don't go me. Don't hesitate through it. Use the consonant to try to create the first sound. Okay? Wherever we are. Is that E flat? No, that's not E flat. Is that E flat? Okay, we only got two. All right, 2, and. Nice breath of space. That's it. Excellent. And. Yeah. And think about the space creating sound. Think about how vibrant you want the sound to be. Your breath, it should be the same style as the music that you want to sing. So if you take a breath that's shallow, right, then you're going to get tone that's not very full. So you want to make sure that you have a nice, easy breath that has a lot of space. Back to D major. Right, and space for the ah that A, right, is closed in the front, but it's huge in the back. So you want to create as much space as you can in the back of it. A is in the back to A, ah. So think about creating the space on the bottom note. Where we're, is that E? E flat. Still we didn't get very far. Okay, 2 and engage. Nice full breath though, and sing. Not bad. Excellent. Nice free tone. Don't just drop out if it's too high. Let that keep on going. Stay in center as it's running. That's right. Where were we? That was a high C. Excellent. Okay. Hey, do 9 note scale. Da, 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 da. 9 note scale. D major. D major. Da, 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 da. Okay. 9 note scale. On ya, right? 2 and da. Ya. Yeah. Yeah. With energy and da. Breath. That's it. Better. Ah. Okay, that's great. One more side. Move. Zemlinsky. Okay, let's start. Remember when you're sitting, especially with these cues, you want to sit on the edge of your chair, slightly forward, so that now we're not losing all the great posture work that you're doing when you're sitting. Okay? So we can start at the very beginning on do still. Bar 27. Remember all tenors and basses, all sopranos and altos, starting at the very beginning. Right? How long will you forget me? Here we go. Basses, tenors. 2, 2, and do. And T, ta, ta, T. And nice diminished chord. And 1. Nice, no breath. On your soul. 2, 3, breath. Yeah, anguish in your soul. Bases. And 1, 2. Nice bases, full bases. It's okay to be low. And crescendo. You're already on mezzo forte. Go! 1 and go! And 1, 2, 3. And and 1. Okay, not bad. Good memory. So obviously bar 86 and whatnot, looking for really second week, really in earnest. Now remember that the tempo is very different at 86. The notes look very similar in terms of half notes, chord notes, or whatnot, but the tone is very, very different. Okay? We're going to start looking at the German a little bit. But this is when you're really crying out, hear me, Lord, hear me, consider me, think about me. So let's go at the very beginning. And I want to do this and start with the German a little bit first. Page 2. Now remember that what we talked about before, Zemlinsky in 1936 or so was pushed out of Germany and was basically almost homeless, right? He didn't have a job. He wasn't as famous as the other composers, and he couldn't readily find work as much. And so we talked about this as a personal anguish. So when the text says, how long will you forget about me, right? He really means that at the very beginning. And so this entire first section to where we got to, all this text, how long will my enemies exalt over me? My anguish, my daily, my daily anguish in my heart. All of this is again almost a direct personal statement. So can we start about 27? Wie lange willst du mein vergessen? Okay? Let's just try to read the German. Okay? You all are pretty good German, so let's just try it. And basses first, and tenors, and da. Not bad at all. Okay? Basses. Everybody, let's sing a D. Everybody sing along with the basses and tenors. Now, knowing that you're now saying, how long will you forget me? Knowing the personal circumstances. This accent, right, needs to be shaped with that same sort of pain and longing. Okay? So everybody, let's sing here at the very beginning, like we're all basses, because you all sing it at some point. Okay? And I want you to think about that accent. There's lots of different ways to create that accent, but what we want to do is build in sort of that pain at the very beginning before anybody knows what the text is. So the D, everybody singing it in your respective octaves to N. Almost, right? Okay? That one I didn't get so much of an accent, and everybody was quite together because we're still, I think, confused what we're doing. Everybody's singing to get an idea of this accent. Okay? To N. Yeah, not bad. Can I hear everybody but the basses? To and up. Wait, sorry. Everybody but the basses. To and up. Yeah. So what I'm getting is very pointed, right? Okay. Can we try that again and create a little bit right? There's a difference between being forward towards somebody and sort of internalizing it. So what you're doing right now sounds like this. Instead of right? Try to soften the initial attack and make it a longer note. To everybody to and up. Almost, yeah. Okay. Now to and up. That's it. Okay. So remember, accents can have tons of different shapes. They can be tall. They can be tall. They can be tall. Right? So basically, let's do this one. Now, the sopranos and altos, when you come in, you have no accent whatsoever. And so what we need to do is create sort of this eerie, spooky, super legato. So, okay? And completely contrast against the first initial accent. Basses, tenors. Is that me? I don't think that's me. Is that me? That's not me. Okay. Right? To and. Good. Excellent. Now, what we want is that scale. When we have different vowels, the placement of the vowels makes it sound out of tune if it's too far back in our throat. So can I hear the altos and sopranos starting at the very beginning? So when you go up each one, it doesn't feel like it's flat every single time. You want to think a little bit higher, and I want you to think less vertically and more horizontally, because these are not super high notes, but if you think up and down all the time, then it becomes a little too disjunct. Sopranos and altos, ready? I'm going to give you 1 and 2, and then this is a D, da, and then 1, 2. Yeah, sorry, it's late. Take a breath in, make sure you're V. Remember, sopranos and altos, ready? 1, 2. Yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent timing, but it sounds like there's an accent to it. Can you just make the V early, but not accent? Ready? 1, 2. Sustain. Now space. Space. That's it. Space. End. Yeah, good. Can you all mark in a breath there? Mark in a breath on the downbeat of second bar of 3. Okay? A breath right there. Now, vergessen. When you have that, verge, if you can make it a little bit brighter, vergessen, Because what ends up is we get it goes high, it falls back in your throat, and that's why it sounds flat. It was so much better, but I want you to make it a little bit brighter. Okay? With the basses and tenors starting from bar 27. Basses and tenors on your second head, right? Even if I don't show you because I'm focusing on sopranos and altos, keep the same shape, okay? Right? 1, 2, and. Almost, yeah. But take the breath in, that's the way you want the sound to come out. So it's going to be, not, right? Or, just, right? 2, and. That's it. Now make this face. Now forward, right, better, and breath. Better, breath. Now, yeah, good. Now you do this on bar 35. You do this so well when we sing it do. But that E is not a half step, it's a whole step up. It's a whole step up from V long to Birks. So you need to make sure that you take it from V long to fit is a much bigger whole step up. Okay? Now it's against the F natural in the basses and tenors. So Paul, if you can play both bar 35, listen to this for a second. And 1. Right? And we're looking for that. So it needs to be a really high whole step. Really high whole step. Okay, one more time for the beginning, because the beginning was really great. Okay? Crazy. The space. That's it. Now think about the steps, whole steps up. Whole step. No. Almost sopranos and altos only. Bar 35. See? Right? And just sopranos and altos. And bar 35. 1. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That was great. What happened? What happened before? Okay, that was fantastic. Okay. It's so hard to start here. Basses and tenors, I think your first accents can be a little bit more. I think they should interrupt the texture a little bit more. Same shape, just increase the amplitude a little bit, okay? Bar 27. And. That's it. So you have a completely different shape than the spasm. Not too pointed though. And whole steps. Much better. Alto. And tenors. Excellent. Okay, so this is a place where you need to think, everybody, that there is a much more significant change. You've been pianissimo, and only the tenors move to piano, right? But altos, at the second bar of rehearsal 4, you have a crescendo from pianissimo, pianissimo, to mezzo forte. That crescendo is not subtle. That crescendo is something is different. Tenors, you have the same thing. Your piano goes from piano to mezzo forte. Basses, all of a sudden, you need to get to forte at bar 45. Bar 45. And so this is a significant change from what happened before. Can we start from bar 35? Bar 35. Sopranos and altos, much, much better. Much better, okay? Okay. Right? Yeah. Bar 35. Here we go. 1, 2, 35, and whole step. Alto, strong, and tenors. Altos, and still languid, and then clash. Get ready. Get ready. Not yet. And here we go. Here we go. And 1. Yeah. And hit. And basses. Yeah. Okay, great. Basses. Now here is almost anger. Okay? Can you just play? Can you play their line at bar 45? And how long will you forget me? Remember, we're repeating the same words over and over again, and in true dramatic fashion. You can't say the same. You can't say the same text the same way. So at this point, forte with accents, you get to say how. Wie lange wirst du? How long will you forget me, okay? Can we just hear the basses at bar 45? Now you see, that's exactly the opposite of what the sopranos have. Sopranos have mezzo forte, no accents. So you come out of the texture to really grab attention on this point. Basses right there, bar 45, and 1, 2. Good. Use the consonants to help you with the dynamic. Wie lange will. Right? Ready, 1. Ready, 1, 2. Yeah. Willst du. Willst du. STD. Not that, I think it's STD. Willst do, okay? Make sure you get all those consonants in. Now, don't glide between the notes because it sort of loses some of its power. You go, vila, right? You want vita, okay? Then we do it one more time. Basses, 1. Ready, 1, 2. Yeah, right, sorry. Same things before. V, okay? Now, not D, but calm with the presence and depth in your singing, which means a deep, full breath. Ready? 1. That's it. All consonants? Oh, no. You should spit those consonants out. Willst du. Willst du. You need to make sure that every single consonant is there. It's great. Remember, we can portray so much emotion through the consonants. So take the opportunity. German's great with this. We're required to pronounce every single word, letter that's there. Every single phoneme, right? One more time. And 1. That's it. And that's better. Yeah. Good. Okay. Now, can we get into that? Altos. It was absolutely fantastic at rehearsal 4. Except you started giving away the surprise. As we got higher, we started to get a little bit louder. You're like, here we go! And it's going to be so much more effective if we wait just for the second bar of rehearsal 5, okay? Everybody from bar 35 on page 2. Same place as before. Okay? And up. Sorry. you don't give away. Make sure you take a nice breath before you come in. Ready? Here, 1, 2, 3 times spaces. And breath, high. And then altos, really accent. Tenors. No crescendo. Get ready. Get ready. And 1. Tenors, sopranos. And basses, and. Keep on going. Go. And sopranos to the stones. 1. Altos. Basses. And sopranos, tenors. Almost. Good. That's really, really excellent. Now, make sure that every single eighth note you give it some weight, okay? The tempo is slow enough that every single eighth note is important. Well, every single eighth note is always important, but especially in slow tempos. Bar 49. Bar 49. Let's start with, Let's start with the sopranos and the altos and the basses, and then tenors. Okay? And 1. And. Yeah. Altos, you have an accent dying on cheeks. Okay? Please. One more time. And 1. Altos. Basses. And 1. And 2 is T. For me. And okay, good. Sopranos, pick up to bar 54. Pick up to 54. Yeah, and then same thing again. Right? You can't say the same thing twice in the same way. For me, how long will you forget me, right? For me. Tantida, ta-tida. If you have to take a break before the next one, in between the two of them, that's perfectly fine because you're repeating it, right? For me. Can we just do the sopranos, pick up to bar 54? Pick up to bar 54. Right? 1, 2, 3. And yeah, exactly. And then the same thing. If you want to take a little lift or a little break before the next vilanga, take a little breath there too. Okay? Because again, we want to shape along with the text as much as possible. Ta ta da, ta ti ta, ti lang. You really have such the shapes will help you portray the text. Okay, it's not about volume. It's not about like sort of intensity. You're creating the shapes. Tantida. Okay? Let's do 49. One more time. 49. Ma. Mine is great because it's ma. You have a nice pure ah. And da, and same thing. Da. Right? And 1. And basses. And to B minor 2 and So instead of being some huge release or uplifting, we sort of die off into this diminished chord, right? Can I hear the altos and tenors starting from bar 54? 54. Okay, ready? 1, 2, and up. I'm missing the end of that word, leads. The TS at the end of leads. So, leads for me. You have to make sure that that consonant, the Z, which is sounding, TZ, sounding TS, is a little bit more present. But that's really excellent. Really, really excellent. Okay, let's do that one more time. One more time. Altos and tenors, do you mind if we start from bar 53? 53. So we go from our separate parts into our unison. Okay? 53. 1, 2, and up. Yeah, wait on a second. So in my score, bar 53, I have the tenors actually changing to dying on the fourth beat. You guys have that? So don't match with the altos. All right? Don't match with the altos.
We have it on the last eighth note, not on the fourth beat, but on the fourth and a half.
Yeah, I think it's actually not that. I think it's actually on the fourth beat. Is that what you guys see? Can I see what you have? Do you have? No, that's on the fourth beat. This is the fourth beat. Oh, sorry. Altos. I'm looking at the wrong part. Altos. You're on the fourth beat. Okay. You're on the fourth beat. So you should be hearing two dyings. Alto tenors. Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. So let's do that one more time. Bar 53. Right. 2 and up. Yeah. See what I'm saying? So your TS plus your D needs to happen a little bit. Da. Okay? Just make sure that you get that TS before the D comes in. Remember, if we want the vowel to be on the beat, then the consonants need to rob the next note, the note before it. Okay? One more time. Bar 53, everybody? I'm sorry. Tenors and altos. Ready, 2, and up. That's it. Fantastic with those consonants. That's really great. Everybody, bar 53. Everybody, bar 53. Now remember, this B minor chord comes out of nowhere. We have all this clashing music, and then all of a sudden, right on down to the 53, we have this very, very potent B minor. Right? 2 and up. That's excellent, sopranos. So just to make sure, if you're a tenor or an alto, make sure you don't make too much of an R, right? We don't go mir right at the end. And then just know that the basses and sopranos have a completely different word. So they will have an ending consonant of tss, right? So just make sure that you don't get confused with that. Right? Bar 60, going on to just come in bar 62, and you come in, continue. And yeah, good. Ta-da-da-da-da-da-dum. You're so musical that you're making something out of it. Instead of, it should just be ta-da-da-da-da-dum. Okay? But if you're going ta-da-da-da-da, it's a little, is it Macbeth with wishes, right? And one. Yeah. So the tone in which you're singing is just fantastic. It's very languid, right? It's sort of atmospheric and eerie, but we're missing still the consonants. Und, and you have to make sure that the T of und is actually still there. Wie lange soll ich? Soll, okay? Soll, sorry. So we start one more time from second bar of 6, second bar of 6. Here's the chord again. Now, that C is quite high, right? And 1. Yeah, excellent. So great. So great. See if you can get the Z to sound together, okay? Be the last person to do it to see if we can get it together. So, and 1. That's it. Yeah. But ICH has an ending consonant. Ending consonant. Okay? I'm going to tell you something that's sacrilege for if you speak German. But for singing, oftentimes we make that an SH sound. So it's heard a little bit more, but we still need to hear it. Wie lange soll ich? Okay? We need to hear it a little more. One more time. And 1. That's it? Where? In my soul? Going on with the T. Aces. Yeah, almost. Remember that the last consonant exists too, right? Can we go to bar 65, 7, 8? 68? Which we, right? Right? 1, 2, and done. Sorry. This is bar 65, 67. 67, sorry, my fault. 65, 67, 67. I heard completely wrong vowels and it's like, oh, no, I told you the wrong part now. All right. 2 and up. Now what happened? Yeah, I'm missing the second word. The consonant at the end of the second word. Right? 1, 2, 3, and. That's it. And that's it. Can I hear in the word heart the anguish? Right? We're talking about the anguish your heart feels daily, right? So can you feel it when you sing Herzen? Can you feel the anguish on the word heart too? And remember that A with a double dot is more like an vowel, right? It's not it's N. Okay? Let's try it. Bar 67. 1, 2, and down. That's it. Bases. And now, do you remember how we talked about this before? Do you remember how we talked about this before, where we have this diminished chord over and over again, right? And then suddenly, the harmonic rhythm of that ending part suddenly goes faster with these really rich dark chords. Right? Now you can see the tone painting that he's doing. Because the anguish of the heart also needs weird chord progressions. When you get there, that's the same chord that we talked about before that's on sol, right? So when you sing the downbeat of bar 68, right, and the two beats beforehand, the anguish, that's on the same chord as the word soul before. So your soul is in anguish, your heart is in anguish. Let's do bar 67 one more time. Okay, 1, 2, and done. And good. Basses, as you get higher in tessitura, in range, it starts to get a little loud. So be aware when you sing on bar 70 that it should match the other dynamic of everybody else. It's really, really excellent. Now, when everybody sings in minem, I hear the diphthong a lot. I hear in minem, minem. And you make sure that you're really singing on the first vowel, minem, instead of minem. It feels like we're chewing the vowels a little bit too much. It should be a little bit more elongated. One last time. Bar 67. 1, 2, and done. Everybody sing the downbeat of bar 70. Okay? The downbeat of bar 70. Basses, I think we're still a little too loud. And done. That's perfect. That's fantastic. Now can we get there? Can we start from bar 69? Bar 69. It was like a backwards version of NBC. Ready? 2, and pianissimo, and. Yeah, it's much, much better. Much, much better. Okay? Can we do this entire section from starting from bar 60, bar 60, 60? Okay? And we had a big cry out, and then we're sort of in a depressed stupor, right? And yeah, Paul was being mean and he didn't play your notes this time. He's like, we've played this diminished chord many, many times. Okay, are the opening figures again? Right? Okay? Starting from bar 60. And then maybe just play the first chord and then drop out. And then go back and breath. That's it, basics. Not bad at all, not bad at all. It felt very tentative, right? But a lot of the notes were there. Remember that chord is really important. Paul's not going to be an orchestra that plays your pitches many, many times, especially for this next section. How long, my enemies over me will be exalted. But for these sections like this, the orchestra is not playing with you. And so at a certain point, we have to make sure that we feel comfortable coming in. Now, the difference is that you're getting along the way of where we are post virtual rehearsals, is that you're singing much more together, but you're latching on to the oral sound of the piano instead of helping move along. Like I said, that one orchestra where I'm like, oh my God, I have to provide everything. If I don't do this, all of a sudden they just stop playing and they get slower and slower and stuff. That's what's happening a little bit right now. It's because instead of watching and trying to be together with conducting, when you hear the pitch, you start singing it, right? And then all of a sudden he didn't start playing the pitches and then you stop singing, right? You're like, oh no, I think I'm right, but I could be wrong, so I don't know what to do, right? That's not bad. Let's try it one more time, and then we'll take a break. Bar 60, but Paul's going to play your first notes. No, but give them their first pitches, and then I was going to say, Paul's going to play your first entrance pitches, and then he's going to go back to playing the orchestra, okay? So you get 1.5 helps, right? And and once for them, and then now maintain the same tone. Just watch it. Watch for the cutoff and breath. My heart. Almost. Bar 69. So can you play the opening pitches, bar 69? Right? Now, let's just do this acapella. 2 and up. Yeah, not that. Basses, remember that we want to make sure that we're decrescendoing a little bit because it still seems pretty loud, okay? Now, Paul's going to play with you once, ready? 1, opening pitches again. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, sorry. Their notes, 69, with Paul, and up. Now one side with Paul only playing the first chord, but all the singing 2 and up. Now, there's a ritardado there, okay? Now, what I want to do is I want you to sing all the notes, but you're going to have to watch me for the changes, okay? Play the opening pitches again. So it could be like this. Ta. Okay, so you're going to have to watch for the changes. One more time, right? And yeah, that's not quite the right chord, right? Right, that's just a minor chord. So first chord again, and done. Next chord, and. Yeah, okay, let's bases alone, right? have a little bit more here, right? And up. Yeah. So the hard parts are to go up the minor third, your first interval, high enough. And then take the tiniest step down for the F. Make sure you change syllables. But then you go up again a huge whole step. Okay? So Paul's going to play it once. T, huge third, and then tiny half step, then huge whole step, and then huge half step. Okay? Basis one time. It's the same adage as always. You want to make sure that when you're going up, you aim a little higher so you can rest on the step, and then you're not tripping yourself. And then when you go down, you prepare the step so it's a tiny bit smaller than you think, right? Bases. 2 and up. That's it. No. That's the first minor third was so fantastic, and then you were proud of yourself and you took a huge half step, right? One time. And up. And then huge whole third. Tiny half step. That's it. Huge whole step. And then, yes. And you never thought, yeah, that's great. You never thought that an A flat in a diminished chord could sound so like resolving, but it's great. Everybody, bar 69. Sopranos and tenors need to tune to the basses on the second note. Right? 2 and up. Basses. It's so great, but now it's like twice as loud as everybody else. That's perfectly fine. Okay, everybody sing it for now from mezzo forte, because I really want to make sure that we get the anguish in our heart, right? Bar 69. 2 and up. So basses, every single time you have one of those critical notes, okay? The second to beat this G flat minor chord that we have there, sort of G minor, it's just flat G, it's a G flat minor, even though it's not spelled like that. You're the root of the chord. And then this next F natural is a really important chord note in this diminished chord. But then the next one, the last beat of bar 69, is a G major chord. G major chord. So that G is obviously the most important note in G major. So it's unfortunately specifically written to be as sort of gnarly as possible. But these chords, they don't functionally line up. So we need to find the intonation immediately to make sure that we get it. Okay? Last time. It's such an important part. That's why I just want to do it with us. With Paul. Bar 69. And that. Now G major. Wait, sing the last chord. Sing the last chord. The last beat on bar 69. Right? Sing that and up. Now this is the problem with 20th century or 21st century music sometimes, right? When these chords come out in the context of crazy harmonic patterns, it's hard to say, oh, that's a happy G major chord, because this is not a happy G major chord, right? But it is still a G major chord, and it needs to sound like major. It's just going to be in the context of everything else. So last thing we do before break, 69, ta, ta, pa, G major. Okay, ready? One more time. And up. And hold this last chord. And just sing it like it's a happy G major chord. And. Right? Okay, let's do this again. Now, in context, bar 69. Right? And going on after bar 69. And 69 going on. And up. Yeah, it's getting there. It's It's starting to get there. Okay, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and finish these last 2 pages in German, and then we'll look at something completely tonal.
And I'm not here. I think we'll take it a little bit.
It's easier back there.
It's much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can see.
Maybe, yeah.
Like,
I mean, we don't split up that
We really
much.
have to be a bit cute. Maybe. I think
We need to
we could
get
be a little.
closer. I agree.
We need to be partners.
You know what?
This is too
I'm,
personal.
people are very nervous about this. So I felt like the Cavalier people. Like, yeah, come on, let's get together.
This is a little, it's getting a little silly. I mean, most of us are hopping.
Good. I'm glad.
We're all just kind of mixed up though. It's very disordered. But I think if we change our seating next week and just sit more as a tighter group, it'll be better for all. Is there a way out?
It's too fast. I gotta go over here.
Well, you've been working on it. I mean, some of us haven't.
Well, I have work. I know, but I mean, you can do it.
I'm not drawn to the fees, so that's a tough project. Something lighter this time.
Oh,
You have to have the work.
one part.
Such an intense,
Suddenly,
difficult time.
that is
Picking up.
powerful. I don't use a mouse very much. Maybe I should
I've heard
use
them
a
on
mouse.
tape,
I can use my shoulder. I can use my left hand. Yeah, my shoulder. I can use my left hand.
You can't use it all, or you can't use it for mousing.
For mouse, it's hard. It gets stiff. It's hard. Yeah, I tried everything. I can using my left hand better than most people. But even there, I should just take a 2 month break.
I think that's a great idea. I think you should take a 2 month break.
Impossible.
Then things about a 1 month break.
In the 30s,
Have the excuse, right, to get out of the house to sing.
What's been going on with you? Things are falling apart. Body's falling apart.
And I lived in an apartment, so
there was
it's like they didn't want to sing out, you know.
But it's been very busy. You know, the feds, I work for the,
Sing out.
we try to help local government get money. And the feds are destroying all this money. There's nobody there to get the money. They're all busy. They don't have money. They don't have staff. So I'm afraid a lot of money is going to get wasted. Well, see, even if you're going to hire a consultant, you don't hire consultants for stuff that they need. You're going to have a bunch of reports. You're going to be sitting on shelves. So it's sad. They don't have anyone to do the work. Yeah.
the whole situation's so heartbreaking.
So it's gonna be crazy next 2-3 years. I'm supposed to. I want to retire in 3 years, and I told that to my people I work with. I said, don't retire. It's like Jesus Christ, that's that's why I'm giving them plenty of work. I told them I can't. Well, see, they have a grant. They just started the grant, and it's a 5-year grant. And the feds are such hard to spend the money. They're making it a 3-year grant. So you can spend what you got for 5 years in 3 years. And then they're going to reissue another grant for another 5 years. And I told them, I'm not, we have to compete for it. I said, I'm not going to last 5 years, and then we're going to start falling. Right, yeah, don't write me in. I have to learn how to sight read first.
It's a scary time, yes. That's what I was wondering.
Lost the box. I'll have to pay someone to teach me because I want. My daughter actually, she could come. She's actually in London now, and she used to sing for a chamber around. And she used to have when she was in grad school, she did a sight singing club. So right now she's in London, and it's like drop-in chamber singing. And they hand you the music and you sing. So she can. Well, I think they give you a day or so. They give you the music so you can have time. And so she can. But she said, "Oh, so she just did it this Saturday." She said, "Dad, we're all old." I said, "I thought, what did you expect?" She was hoping to get younger people. Because she's actually sung with they did a workshop with the same.
You're doing okay?
Now the chamber that sings for Oxford. So they have a chamber, and they all sang with the King's.
It's one of these,
buddies they're called with the bass and the king sing. And she says the tenor is so cute.
You just buy this yarn and then you just they have you just
No,
yeah.
for some reason,
Or you just knitting.
she works here, but then her work lets her work from anywhere in the world.
It's actually supposed to be smaller.
As long as it's
I didn't
temporary,
realize
so she
they
can
did the whole thing.
for her boyfriends.
When people wear it,
Her boyfriend's friend.
I have to be about it.
I don't know. Oh, she's actually back in class. She leaves like every 2 months.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right.
No, actually, not counting the discipline, but the other ones
Since
I did.
COVID started. Oh, she traveled even before it was vaccinated. She never got sick. She got sick twice. And both times she got it from her roommate.
You're still living.
I mean, she's been around the world. I mean, she's been to Mexico, France, Italy, like back and forth. And then she got sick from her roommate.
And when people say their hair isn't really bad, it's like you know you're talking about the
Now
same
she's
person. It doesn't
singing
quite
two
feel
choruses in one. Like drop. But she's thinking about, she's actually looking for a job there. She wants to stay with her boyfriend. But she's really excited about joining choruses. They're really big in the choruses.
Yeah, oh, that's it. You know, that's great.
With younger people.
And that's an answer.
So when are you going to visit her?
Oh, well.
I mean, I've been to London, so it's really expensive. I'm gonna stay with her boyfriend. Yeah. Well, my wife's a teacher. She can do it. She just can't do it. She has to retire too. She'll be back actually, and we have guests coming. Now this guest we're having, he's got another. So he's retired too, but he's worked. He was in the foreign service. He's worked in Russia, Ukraine, Poland. It's like, see the drift here? He's been in those places that have the war going on. Kazakhstan, which is also having issues lately. So, whenever anything happens, he'll always, what's he posting on Facebook? Yeah. Yes, actually, he says after 5 years here, all the days, he doesn't really comment on it. He did comment about the nuclear power plant though. He knew how big it was.
Something stereotypical.
So have you sung that little song? Were you here when they sang that little song? You were?
Go through
Yeah,
the face, no matter what.
So I'm going to struggle with this one because there's no recording of this anyway.
Stick to it. It's all purple.
Okay,
Maybe we need it.
let's come back.
They don't have it. Okay, so we're not going to sing, but I do want to obviously acknowledge that there are basically two halves to this piece.
and we've been dealing in the depressive state for a long time. But we will be moving on from that eventually. But I want you to look at just page 23 and the words ich hoffe, alle darauf, dass du so maybe liest. In the Zelensky, page 23. And the translation, I have trusted in thy mercy. My heart shall rejoice in thy salvation. I will sing to the Lord. And so it's, I think, again, a very appropriate piece for pandemic times because we're singing to salvation, which takes us to this piece by Robin Eschner. I want you to take out Because We Sang. Parce que nous chantions en demeurant à table, en allant par les champs. And I want you to read the text. Because we sang at the table, and while we walked through the fields, because we sang sometimes even in silence simply by looking, we kept for the rest of the year what sanity we needed. And so this was suggested as a piece that we could sing, and it seems particularly appropriate not only for as a counter to Zelensky, right? But also because it has connections to BCCO, connections to Arlene Sagan, of course, and is a really wonderful piece. So I want to read through this a little bit. And Paul, if you don't mind playing, their notes as necessary. We're going to skip the solos for now, unless we want to. No, why don't we read it? You all speak French, right? Okay. Tout le monde parle un peu de français. Okay. What's 96? Okay, begin. And 1. Tenors and basses, and 1. 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 1, 2. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. One, two. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. And one, two. 1, 2. 1 off. Tenors, altos. And no. And altos, basses. 1, 2. Sopranos. Altos, and 2, 3. Evening. 1, 2. And 116, 17, 1, 2, 3. And basses. 1, 2, and and 1, 2 unison. Harmony. 1, 2. 1, 2. Pretty beats. Yay! Okay, let's work on a tiny bit. Let's do take up to bar 143, page 11. We kept for the rest of the year. Okay, let's try that. We kept. Doorbell. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2. Good. So, what's sanity we needed? So the dynamic change is a tone change for us, right? It's not, we kept with sanity we needed, right? That could certainly work, but we want to feel like we're a little bit at peace at the end. What's sanity we needed? So can you make sure that the dynamic change is also a change in color too? Now, English is the worst language to try to sing because we think we speak English. But we need to make sure that the way we pronounce certain words. In IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet, the word year is horrific. Okay, so we don't want to say, we kept for the rest of the year, right? I want you to take Ye. Now think about what I'm saying again. It's ye, y-i-e, and then an r at the end of the word is a schwa. So you say ye, not year. We don't want that what we call glide. In American English, R's and L's, L and R are called glides. They really sort of manipulate and chew. So we get rid of ye, okay? Now, let's try it. We kept. Now, the other thing is, brilliant. You can all do excellent consonants for we kept. But it's a little bit weird when we go, what's it, B? We kept. We kept. Right? You just make it soft but present. Present but not too loud. Okay, here we go. Right? Okay, 1, 2. We kept for the rest. And change color. That's beautiful. Excellent. That's absolutely beautiful. Okay? And if it bleeds into the next bar, that's perfectly fine. Because the solos are doing it, why wouldn't we do it? Okay. Can we do that one more time? We kept for the rest of the year. So not of the year, but we kept for the rest of the, not of the, but open up those vowels, right? We kept for the rest of the year. Right, here we go. And 1, 2. We kept for the rest of. Yeah, excellent. Turn the page, go back. Mezzo forte, and then full crescendo to forte. Let's get that, right? Here we go. And 1, 2. And crescendo and breath. Yeah, excellent, excellent. That sounds so much more like we have intention in the words that we're trying to use. Now let's go through the other languages. Can we go to Alleluia? Bar 81. That's a B flat. Right? Let's just do Hallelujah. Okay, let's do sopranos only. Bar 81. Right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I had the same issue. Let's make sure our syllables are in the right place. Right? One more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Crescendo and up. And beautiful. Okay. Altos alone. Altos alone. Right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Alleluia. 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 It always goes to the third beat because of the way the word is, okay? Let's build that again and use that as part of your crescendo. Alleluia. 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 Hallelujah. We sang. And then take a breath after the last hallelujah before we sang. Okay? So you can have a nice, clean entrance for we sang, right? Ready? 1, 2, 3. And then breath. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Tenors and basses alone. Ready? Right? Now your texts are very different, so be careful. Right? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Right, yeah. So tenors, you have the mi, right? So you have the mi of the chord. You have the third of the chord. You need to be much higher. Right? 1, 2, 3. Better and yeah, good. So just watch out for that. I don't know if you have a page turn, but watch out for that page turn. And then tenors, can we hear you on the third bar of that page? 83, bar 83. Hallelujah. Right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so the same thing as I mentioned the altos. Think about the third beat. Da, 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 bum, ba, da, 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 bum, ba, da, da. You're always going to the third beat so that the word has the right emphasis on the syllables. And then make sure that this is where the modal color comes from. Make sure that you really do have it D natural there, okay? Right? One more time. Tenors right there. Right? 1, right, 2, 1, 2, 3. Sorry. Bar 83. That's why I was confused. Hallelujah. Right? I got so confused. I was like, is that a C? That doesn't sound like a C. Is that a C? Right, okay. Bar 83. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, good. And then remember your good old choir singing. It's not alleluia. Alleluia. It's an ah vowel at the end, not alleluia. 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 Ya. Okay? Right? One more time. All 4 voice parts, bar 81. When you have moving notes, those are interesting notes. Not that notes are not interesting, but there are notes that should be brought out more than others. Bar 81. Right? 1, 2, 3. And crossing. Altos. Yeah, not bad. Sibilance is one of my favorite things in the entire world. Favorite thing. Not that this is really sibilance, but every single time you have an S, we sang, right? We should hear that word stick out because of the S. Alleluia, alleluia. We sang. Sopranos sing it, then altos sing it, then the tenors sing it, then the basses sing it. It's 4 bars in a row of ta, 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 ta. Okay? Let's see if we can get that. It needs to have a little bounce. So it's not, what's a B flat again? Not, don't make it too legatissimo. It should have a little bit of rhythm underneath it. Right? Everybody, bar 81. 1, 2, 3. That's it. And change chord, tenors. That's it. And sopranos. Altos. Tenors. Basses. And crescendo and And. And good. Yeah. You know that's the beginning of do, na, no, these, pa, cha, pa, cha. It's really great. Really nice quote. Okay. This is actually we did quite a bit of this actually. Look at that, it goes really quickly. Okay. Let's look at the beginning. Bar 42, 3, 4, 5, 46. 46. What mode is this? Mixolydian has a sharp. Lydian has Lydian starts in the 7, right? I forgot my modes. That's terrible if I'm teaching theory to you right now. Okay, bar 46. Because we serve. Right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Table, table. Okay. I'm going to modify the ending vowel. So it's not table, table. It's gonna feel weird to you. It's gonna sound great up here. Table. Okay? B-A-L-L. Table. Was that the right? Well, why are my sense of pitch is very. Because we sit on the table. Okay, let's try that. Because we sit. Right? 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2. Yeah, and while we walked, right? Look at those 3 W words in a row. That's great. Right, one at a time. And can you play the pictures for them? Bar 52. Listen to this for a second. So 2 notes the same, 2 notes different, right? Let's try that, right? Okay, I'll give you 1, 2, right? And 1, 2. Yeah. Now, fields ends with a Z, right? Fields. Make sure we have that present. And then before we go on to the tense and bases, through the remember fields has an L in it that could be a glide. So please don't sing through the fields, right? Fields, right? Make the L all the way at the end, so we do not have any glide that's there. One last time from the beginning of this line. Surprise announcements and bases and tenors, you're next. Right? Here you go. Because, yeah. Because we saw. Right? 1, 2, 3. And. Don't forget the vowel, it sounds like table. And 1, 2. 1, 2. What happened? Yeah. You have to hold that note longer than you think. And while we walked, right there, listen. Now, Paul has a whole bunch of things before that, but he also plays some notes too. So it really helps if you keep the beat. 1, because, and while we walk, right? Here we go. Right on bar 52, right? Tenors and bases next. And 1 and B. That's it. And. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Everybody, tenors That's basics. And. Yeah, not that. Okay, sometimes even in silence. We don't sing in silence. So make sure that the second syllable of silence is not as loud. Otherwise it sounds a little weird. Sometimes, it's not even sometimes. Sometimes even in silence. Everything is on the downbeat. Okay, 58, mezzo forte, with security, right on 58. Because we sigh, right? 1, 2, 3. Because we sigh. And. Yeah, not bad, not bad. I like the effort that we're doing for the downbeats. Really, really.
No. Nope.
Oh, it's not here right now. It comes 5 minutes to 9. I think they took silence too literally. This is a beautiful piece. I want to make sure that we sing it in a way that the words come across. So when we sing things like silence, it's a little bit against the poetry of the words. Okay? So, in any case, we're going to continue. We have 4 pieces. Doesn't this remind you of in our own house? Hello? Ah! We are not in silence anymore. But this is a beautiful piece, and you can see that our concert, when we eventually have it with the Mendelssohn, with the Brahms, with this piece, and the Zemlinsky, is going to be really fantastic. Okay, thank you, Paul. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Christian, David, and everybody. We'll see you next week.